Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
So today we're going to do our review on Consecration.
And a little bit about this movie. After the alleged suicide of her priest brother, Grace travels to a remote Scottish convent where he fell to his death. Now, she doesn't really trust what the church is trying to tell her here, so she uncovers murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth about herself as well.
So we're going to talk about the positives, the negatives, and we are going to spoil this movie for you. So
it is out today on VOD, so make sure you're checking it out. But until then, let's get into the positives.
So some of the positives, there's really creepy imagery. You get this woman in all white, lots of shadow usage, and it's just creepy, and it works.
The cinematography in this movie is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Scotland is just a beautiful country. I really would love to travel there someday just to drive through the hills and see how beautiful it is. It looks just gorgeous, and this film really captured that.
Mm-hmm. The acting is good too. I really like Grace, Jenna Malone. I thought she did a fantastic job. Also, Father Romero, Danny Hudson. We love him and everything he does. He's so good.
Yep. And the makeup looks great.
Mm-hmm.
You have Grace, her dead brother Michael, the bruises, the swollen eye.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he looks like a cadaver when he's laying there on the autopsy table.
Yeah. Yep. We'll get more into it.
Yeah, we can't go too deep into that right now, but we will.
Also, the white robes with the blood on them is a really great touch, representing a purity, and then the blood representing judgment and the ultimate sacrifice of humanity. Yeah. We'll get more into that about the movie as well, but I just thought that was a great touch.
Yeah. You have the feeling of dread throughout this movie, and like the sadness and loss of loved. Mm-hmm. You know, when you lose your loved one, and how hard life is to continue. Mm-hmm. After that, when you have all these questions, that especially when it's a mysterious death.
Yeah.
What really happened, and you have all these questions that you don't have answered. It's really hard to deal with.
Absolutely. And then, obviously, I had to say something. There's a Hocus Pocus reference where he says it's all a bunch of Hocus Pocus, and I was like, ah!
The way he delivered it was totally like
a nod
to that movie.
And I was like, okay, I like that.
We talked about, the falling to the death, but there's a couple falling scenes in this movie that look really good. One especially looks very, very good. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of positives to go along with Consecration, but now let's get into our negatives of the film.
This is one that bugs me in any movie, and it's when they increase the volume on objects like a phone call just for a jump scare. I hate that. Like, it overstimulates my brain, and I don't like that when they do stuff like that.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
You can do
it's
something.
Like a cheap jump scare, but it's a fucking phone ring, or like a dog barking, or a cat meowing.
Just turn it up as loud as you can in post and make it scare people.
Because it's super quiet, and then the phone rings and it's super loud, and I just hate that.
Yeah. Lots of dreams, like you pass out and then you wake up in a different place. Like, it's, again, once or twice you can live with. The amount of times that this happens in this film, you're like, okay, man, are they dreaming? Are they awake? Where are they going to end up at?
Well, to go with that, there's so many flashbacks to tell the story. It's like you're constantly going to the past and then to the future, or to not future, but the present, and it's just a lot of flashbacks.
Right. You get a lot of those, and in those you get a lot of child and spousal abuse. Again, it ends up being a part of the story, but it doesn't make it any easier to watch.
Right.
It is still a hard watch when you're seeing all the child and spousal abuse, and especially the way some of it happens with cages and stuff like that. It's
hard
a rough watch.
To watch. And the ending, I can't really elaborate right now about it, but I wanted it to be darker, eviler than it actually was. Like, that's all I'll say right now. But a certain someone, I wanted to be evil. I thought that would have been better.
I think it would have been too. I was disappointed in the ending. Not everything needs a happy ending. Let's just say that. So those are some of our non-spoiler negatives. But now we are going to spoil the film. It is available on VOD. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you're checking it out, and then come back and check out our spoilers.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
We are so proud to be partnering with Dubby. They're the Be Better energy drink, generally considered a healthier option to many other energy drinks. Due to its focus on clean ingredients and lack of excessive sugars and additives, it's a zero sugar, 0 calorie drink with no maltodextrin, artificial flavors, or fillers. Now, it does contain caffeine.
I'm good with it.
Which we are both very fine with. It also features other vitamins and nutrients, and it's touted for its smooth focus and long-lasting energy without giving you the jitters.
So they offer bundles with a shaker and powder for your convenience. They have great flavors such as Shadow Monarch Surge, which is blue raz and purple grape, s'mores, Tiger's Blood, which is strawberry, watermelon, and coconut. Those are just a few of the many flavors that they offer. There is a blend that will work perfectly for anybody. Please click the link in the description and use code SHHorror10 for 10% off your order now.
Thank you guys so much. And like we said, SH Sledgehammer Horror 10. Click that link, enter that code, get 10% off. Enjoy the rest of the video.
All right, guys, so now we're spoiling things. It begins with a nun. She pulls out a gun on a woman, like, walking down the street.
Then it just cuts.
Yeah, you really get no context. It's just like, what's happening here?
So we meet our main protagonist, Grace, and she is haunted by a woman in white. Like, she's walking down the hallway and you see the woman in white go behind her, and you're like, who could this be? I bet it'll play off in the end in a very big, good way.
Yeah, sure. So she gets a phone call. This is when the freaking loud ring happens. And we found out that her brother, I guess it was like a murder-suicide.
He killed a priest and then killed himself. Yeah. So she travels to Scotland for the investigation because she does not believe that her brother would ever take his own life, or someone else's for that matter. She is very skeptical about the whole thing.
So Father Carroll, he was murdered in the convent, and Grace believes that her brother was also murdered. Like, she does not believe, like you said, that he would take his own life. You know, just like any victim of someone that kills themselves, they're like, that would never, they would never do that. And there wasn't. She doesn't believe it. Right.
Well, then her and the investigator end up going to the convent. And you find out that Grace wasn't religious, but her brother is. And apparently he was into religion hardcore. And they start telling her stuff, and she's like, listen, when you're talking about my brother, don't bullshit me. Okay? Like, she just does not have the patience at all for these nuns whatsoever.
She hates the nuns.
Right.
So Mother Superior tells Grace and the investigators that her brother didn't kill the father, but the devil inside him did, and then he took his own life. And she's just like, don't bullshit me.
That's where she's like, don't do that. Yeah. Don't bullshit me. Okay, when we're talking about my brother, give it to me straight. So her dead brother right here, he tells her it's not safe, and we get a flashback of the two running from something back when they were kids.
Father Roman visits Grace in the hospital after she passes out in the morgue, after he tells her dead brother comes back and says it's not safe. And he's asked, is there anybody I can call on your behalf? And she pretty much says, my father's dead, or my mother's dead, and my father is in prison for killing her. So,
she goes back to the Vatican at this point, and she finds nuns jumping to their death. She passes out.
Again.
And falls in the lake, wakes up in the coven.
So she's curious whether her brother's body was, why it was clean when she's seen it in the morgue. She's like, there's no sand on it. He fell to his death into this, this, I don't know. It's like a lake or whatever it is.
It's like a big mountain overlooking a lake. Yeah. And that's where he fell from. Yeah.
Yeah. And Mother Superior said that she washed him off before the reporters and everybody got there, I guess.
Yeah, out of respect.
Yeah.
And Grace is like, lies. Grace has shown her brother's things, and she finds a journal of what looks like symbols, but she's able to read it because he wrote in their coded language from when they were kids. Grace was actually adopted by Michael's parents when she was younger.
So we find out that Lady Superior believes that Grace is powerful and sees visions and things of the future. They know that there's something going on with Grace.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. So the detective asked Mother Superior, why did you clean Michael's body? And she's like, oh, well, there were crabs on him. We wanted to get rid of the evil and the shit on him. And he's like,
Yeah.
Really?
Like he doesn't.
That's what we're fucking doing now.
Right. So Grace, she has this flashback. She has a lot of flashbacks. But she has this flashback of her father surviving the storm. Like, I don't know if he's a fisherman, but he's like on a boat. And he comes back and he's abusive and like puts his family in cages. And they get mom to get out.
Mom finally does get free.
Yeah, and dad runs after her and kills her by stabbing her with a cross.
And this is when she goes and she's adopted by Michael's parents. But Michael has this memory of the Covenant trying to adopt them when they were younger, and Grace thinks that that's why they brought them there.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing of like, why did they want to adopt us? Why is Michael back here now if that was the case?
So she has this flashback from, again, the Covenant is now adopting Grace and Michael, and they just throw Michael out of the car and they try to kill Grace. But a semi hits them head on, so she's able to get free.
Something takes control of the wheel in the car. So Grace has a flashback of her brother being pressed, kind of like Giles Corey in the old Salem witch trials. While Father Carroll is asking him where the relic is.
They think he knows where the relic is, and we'll figure out what the relic is.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing here is they're pressing him. If you don't know what pressing is, they have a bookshelf on top of him. In this case, it's a bookshelf, and the nuns are stepping on it, and they start jumping when they want more weight to crush him and make him tell them what they're looking for.
Mother Superior tells them, take him to the ruins. Take Michael to the ruins. It's time for him to make peace with God for, not telling them where the relic is, I guess.
So Grace goes and visits her dad, and she tells him Michael's dead. And he's like, well, bring him back like you did me. And, I should have drowned with the others. Grace has prayed for the father to be alive, but Dad says it wasn't God that answered you. It was the darkness that took me. This was one of the most unhinged moments of the movie.
I actually like this part of the movie, and I was hoping that it would continue to go dark like this, but
it doesn't.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy this part. I was like, damn, this guy is unhinged, and he is awesome. He was great in this role.
So Mother Superior pretty much thinks Grace is a relic. Obviously, Grace is the relic. Anytime one of the nuns try to kill her, they end up killing themselves. Like, they try to stab her, they're killing themselves. Like, nobody can touch Grace.
Yeah. So then they try to contain Grace in a tomb.
And she's like willingly at first, and then figures out like, you're going to put me down here for the rest of my life. Like, no, thank you. So, yeah. So she escapes and she like falls off the cliff her brother fell off or killed himself off of, and has this flashback, a bunch of flashbacks of her dead self doing all of the killing. So anybody that tried...
The lady in white?
Is her.
Is her.
Yeah. And so I don't like when they tried to kill her when she was a little girl. It was her that did
killed
the semi and had that hit him head on. Like, she's protecting
she
herself.
moved the wheel.
Yeah.
She's the one that hit the dad in the head and killed him. Mm-hmm. She's the one that when the nun was trying to attack her, she's the one that took her arm and made her stab herself.
Her adult self, dead, killed the dad. Your face. The dad when she was a child.
Yeah.
Her dead self,
adult But she isn't actually dead.
No, she's not actually really dead. So
it ends like it began. The nun that had the gun was Mother Superior, and the person that's getting the gun pointed at them is Grace. And it ends with Mother Superior getting hit by a car.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah. So my whole thought is, like, I was hoping that Grace would have, like, continued to be evil.
Like the Antichrist type thing.
Yeah.
That's the direction they pointed you at the whole movie.
They did, but she's not evil. Like, she literally helps people. Like, she helps someone get her sight back. Like, she uses her powers for good.
Yeah, she literally does that. She walks up to someone in a car and just gives her sight back. And you're like, you built this whole movie up. So, anyway, overall, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. And the 2 is very generous. These were always my favorite types of horror movies. Religious horror. Growing up, this is what affected me the most. But now they're becoming such a dime a dozen with nothing to make it stand out.
Yeah.
The dad part in the jail is what excelled this movie for me.
That part was scary. Like,
Yeah.
even the flashbacks of, like, the dad and, like, that part was scary. Like, I wish they would have built off of that a little
Yes.
more and made Grace more evil. Like,
This had the pieces
she
to
was
be an
able
amazing movie.
to bring back these people, and
Yes.
then they were crazy after she did it. Like, I thought that was great. I love that.
Like a pet cemetery almost,
Yeah.
but with a nun. Like
Yeah.
I loved the
liked
direction.
that part there.
The ending really pulled it down for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, that whole scene, I was like, that's what we're gonna do here.
Mm-hmm.
She's bringing them back and starting her own covenant, so to speak, of people that will follow her into the evil. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. And
But she's not evil.
Yeah, they lost it at the
I wanted
end.
her
So
to be evil. Yeah.
I'm giving it a 2 out of 5.
I will agree with the 2 out of 5. And the 2, it's the positives for me is the acting.
The cinematography too is it really is beautiful. Like, this movie is a very beautiful movie. If you liked The First Omen or Immaculate, you might dig this movie. I feel like those movies stuck the ending a little better than this one did. But if you did enjoy those movies, I think that you will enjoy this movie. As always, Sledgehammer Horror recommends you check out these movies for yourself. Don't just take our word for it. You might find something in this movie that is just really grabs you and sits with you. It didn't for us.
Yeah.
So please, guys, if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Those links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.